Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Oh, it's another Monday morning. How is everyone doing today? Good morning with Reganelite. Welcome to the month of June. It is the 2nd of June, 2025, 8 a.m. Nice and early UK time. We are dual streaming. Well, live streaming on youtube.com/ReganElite and on twitch.tv/ReganElite1. If you're on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button and the bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I go live on there. And if you happen to be on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, the usual stuff on there, because it really does help support the channel. Good morning to anyone who may be lurking in the chats. And it's been quiet, very quiet today. That's okay, that's okay. We've got quite a few stories we'll look at from this morning's media rounds. There's definitely plenty to talk about. But first, guys, let's look at the weather today. What is going to the weather be like today? Well, according to the weather app here in London, at the moment right now, it is 13 degrees here in London. And it's expected to reach as high as 20 degrees here in the capital as well. So it's saying, in terms of how much sunshine, well, it's nothing but sunshine pretty much all morning up till 10 o'clock. And then from there, about 11 o'clock onwards, there'll be some clouds, a bit of clouds and whatnot. But it even says as late as 8 o'clock, it should be nothing but sun as well. So it's literally a battle between the sun and the clouds, really, today. It will be warm, but not too warm, I would say. So it's a very nice day, but unfortunately, most people will be spending it, unfortunately, indoors working, unfortunately. But that is the case there. In terms of what the weather's supposed to be like expected for the week ahead, actually. So Tuesday's temperature's going to drop as low as 17. They're predicting a 50% chance of rain, so there's rain forecast for tomorrow here. Wednesday, 18 degrees, going to be cloudy. Thursday, there's a strong chance of going to be rains on Thursday. 80% chance they're predicting 18 degrees there. Friday, they're saying 50% chance of rain. And Saturday, 65% chance of rain. So we're expecting some showers. Basically, are going to be coming up after today. There's going to be showers I'm going to be expecting here. So probably likely, if you're not in London, if you're somewhere on the outskirts of England, or maybe even up at Scotland or Wales, there's a good chance you'll probably may get some showers along your ways too as well. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. How are you doing? Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, that is today's weather report here. I do plan on actually going straight out for a walk after the show here today. So what is today's quote, guys? Well, like I always say, if you want to know the daily quote when I'm not doing a Good Morning live show, you need to follow me on my social medias, or come on to this or the free Discord community, whether it's on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. Like there's lots of various different ones here. But I always like to just do it just to point it out and show you guys, so I'm not BSing you guys when it comes to the quote for today. So today's one for the 2nd of June is: the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Oprah Winfrey as well. I think I said her name right. No, I haven't. Oprah Winfrey there. That's a great quote. I really like that one. You can change your future by merely changing your attitude. Very, very good quote there, guys. That is a very good one. Oh, and tomorrow's quote is... You have to wait till tomorrow to see that one, guys. Sorry, I know. But that's the way it is. But I'm planning to do 5 Good Morning shows this week, so you won't miss tomorrow's one. If you're here, then you'll see it, won't you? That is for sure. So, guys, I said last week because I talked about well, before we get into the news and politics, I said last week I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the I talked about my holiday trip in Wales, and we covered pretty much mainly everything. I don't think there was really anything more to add to it. I may go back to one or two in the future, but I think let's talk a little bit about one holiday that myself and my partner were very lucky to go to just a few years ago, and that was Iceland. Iceland is an absolutely beautiful country, and I'm going to talk about some various places that me and my missus give to, and gives them a bit of history to them as well. And I'm going to probably mispronounce the name, botch the name of some of these places as well when I talk about them. So let me show you. Why is this not set up? Silly me. Good morning, Mithril. Hope you are doing well. So this is one of the places we went to called Skudafloss in Iceland. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll show you some images of the waterfall that we went to in Iceland just a few years ago here, and you can just see just by the Google images there of just how gorgeous it is. I've never seen it covered in snow until I saw this picture, and I thought, wow, like that is pretty incredible. I would have loved to have seen it in snow and ice. Obviously it would be very, very cold, but I have to say it does look pretty magnificent there. But you can just see just from the images there just how gorgeous it would be. And even with the even with the northern lights there as well, that's a pretty beautiful, beautiful to say the least. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Skogafloss, where we got to visit, and then I'll tell you a bit about my experience there. So Skogafloss Ganal Skudu Floss is a waterfall on the Skoda River in the south of Iceland at the cliff markings of the former coastline. After the coastline had receded, it is now at a distance of about 5 kilometers, that's 3 miles from Skogar. The former sea cliffs remain parallel to the coast over hundreds of kilometers, creating together with some mountains and a clear border between the coastal lowlands and the highlands of Scotland. Skudafloss is one of the biggest waterfalls in the country, with a width of 25 meters, that's 82 feet, and a drop of 60 meters, that's 200 feet. Yeah, it's a pretty big drop. Due to the amount of spray the waterfall consistently produces, a single or double rainbow is normally visible on sunny days. Visitors can be drenched if they go too near the waterfall, again due to the spray. According to legend, the first Viking settler in the area, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name, buried a treasure in the cave behind the waterfall. The legend continues that locals found the chest years later, but were only able to grasp the ring on the side of the chest before it disappeared again. The ring was allegedly given to the local church, and the old church ring door is now in the Skodakar Museum. At the eastern side of the waterfall, a hiking and trekking trail leads up to the pass. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name, guys. Between Fim something. Sorry, guys. Between the glaciers, and I'm not going to pronounce those names, so you can see them on the screen there. Sorry. And it goes down to Portsmouth, and the other side, and continues to Lavagor, and the Landsman Galagor, a 527-step staircase that leads up to slopes at the top of the waterfall. The path that they're referring to. Where is it? This path up here. Yeah. So me and one of the relatives, when we actually went to Skogafloss, this was actually quite sad. Actually, when we actually went, so I went with my partner and her mum and partner, and my missus and the mum didn't get out of the car. They stayed in the car because they were tired. They wanted to stay in the car. They didn't want to come out and walk to it because it is a little bit of a trek from the car park to the waterfall. But I wasn't going to miss out an opportunity to go and see. So we went to the waterfall. So yeah, it's a shame that my missus never got to see it like up close and that. I'm gutted for her. But it is ferociously loud when I saw it. And the steps up. So there is the pathway. I think this picture, yeah. So you can see if you go look on this screen that I just showed up on the right hand side there. So there is a pathway on the right there, and then it follows up by got some wooden steps. Some of the steps are really old and creaky. I swear they do need to fix that. Some of them they don't look safe. Let me put it that way. It's quite a few steps just to get up to the top there, but it was worth getting up to the top there just to take photos from up there from above. Do have photos and videos of us at the top there, which is pretty cool as well. And yeah, there's this pathway that keeps going on and on beyond obviously the waterfall there, but obviously we weren't going to go that far, but it is pretty impressive to say the least. Scooter Floss. I do highly recommend checking it out. If you ever go to visit Iceland, this is definitely one of the waterfalls you should definitely go and see. That's an interesting photo there. It's not too where it's snowy, but not too snowy there. I was not aware of treasures hidden behind the waterfalls, but then again, that's something that should be really, I suppose, guessing the Viking days, it really shouldn't be something that we should be surprised about either. I did get a little bit wet because I did get quite close to the waterfall when I did it there. Oh, there's another photo there you can see of the pathway up there. You can see that there on the right hand side. It's not that bad, to be fair, of the pathway up there as well. That's a good shot of a rainbow there as well. Very, very nice there. But yeah, it would be fascinating to see it with the northern lights. I bet it must look absolutely fabulous there with the northern lights as well there. There's a great song called Fajada by the metal band called Scorsivia that features Scott Floss there, says Mithril. Ooh, interesting. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Very interesting stuff there. So just read this last little bit here. In popular culture in 2012, Skogafloss was settling for this. Yeah, this is you literally just said it as well. The Scholarfisher music video Facha, a song from their album Stefala Sander. Sorry. That same year, the opening task during the second episode of the 12th season of the Dutch reality TV series YDC Mooi took place at the waterfall. I hope I said that right. The waterfall was the location for the filming of the 2013 film releases for The Dark World and The Secret Life of Walter Milty. The 2015 Bollywood movie The Dwindle features the waterfall, which is one of the locations of the song Jinrinda. That's the same year the Justin Bieber music video I'll Show You, featuring glacial lagoons rivers in South Iceland, includes a Skull of Floss. The second episode of season 5 of the series Vikings, which aired in 2017, shows the character Floss, based on I can't say that name, sorry, coming upon Skull of Floss when he discovers Iceland. In the final season of the series Game of Thrones, which aired in 2019, shows Dalariski's Targaryen and Jon Snow flying to this waterfall on her dragon and kissing in front of it. Yeah, why did I not think that there was going to be a Game of Thrones reference to the waterfall as well? You can see on the just on the right there where it is situated on the map there, and then obviously you got the open street maps of where it would be as well, just as well there. But yeah, absolutely stunning one to say. So yeah, Skull of Floss, do check it out. But we'll definitely look at another place that we went to in Iceland as well. I thought that was worth sharing with you guys today. So let's have a look at what some of the stories that some of the UK media is talking about, guys. So this one from The Guardian here. The London Mayor reverses the Transport for London ban on ads calling for abortion decriminalisation. So Sadiq Khan is seeking an urgent review of his decision to ban adverts from the British Pregnancy Advisory Service. So let me read a bit more into it before I give my views on it, guys. So the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has stepped in to reverse a ban on adverts on the London Transport Network calling for abortion to be decriminalised. It is understood that the Mayor is seeking an urgent review of the Transport for London's decision to ban the adverts from the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, that's the BPAS charity, on the grounds that they may bring the Metropolitan Police into disrepute. BPAS has placed the adverts on locations across England and Wales, urging people to lobby MPs ahead of the anticipated parliamentary vote on whether to decriminalise abortion. The campaign posters, which have been approved by the Advertising Standards Authority, features the anonymous story of a Will woman who had been investigated by police and in some cases prosecuted after a termination or a pregnancy loss. BPAS was told in correspondence with TfL that it would not run the adverts because the proposed advertisement would make serious allegations about the police. The transport body later said in a statement that the material did not comply with TfL's advertising policy because it made negative references about the police. The decision to ban the ad comes despite TfL's previous allowing pro-choice campaign material on buses across London, sponsored by Doctors for Choice, and abortion talk featuring the slogan "Abortion is a healthcare, not a crime." So I'm going to show you the picture here. This is it here. One of the adverts from BPAS here. So this one here on the front here says, a mother to a 2-year-old arrested for ending her own pregnancy in an abusive relationship. Partner threatened to kill her if she told anyone he was involved. Mother was jailed for 2 years. Abortion law needs to change. Scan the QR code to automatically tell your MPs to vote for the upcoming amendment. Now, I don't know enough about the upcoming amendment and changes about this. So I want to be very careful what I say. So let me just put my 2 cents on the table about this. About what I can say on this, guys. So obviously I'm a white male, so it's not something that I always like to point that out to people, because it's like, I really, my position is very, very clear, is that if a woman does want to have an abortion, if a woman doesn't want to have that baby, it should be their choice to decide whether they should want to get rid of that baby or not. It should not be up to, if they are married and they want consultation on that, they should be allowed to have their consultation as well on that. I think, and it must be done with care and consideration. Obviously, some women, and there are cases out there where some women are influenced by their partners, are influenced by people who are not beneficial to them on this, and I just want women to be able to have that choice. My position is pretty much them to have their choice. Pro-choice, pretty much, is my viewpoint on this. I don't like that Nigel Farage is talking about trying to promote some kind of change to the abortion laws, because I generally feel like that this is him trying to undermine the rights of women, because of what's happening in the US, what's happened to abortion rights. I feel like that this is them pumping huge amounts of money into the British into the likes of Nigel Farage and the Conservatives and whatnot, to try and change people's mindsets when it comes to abortion. I do fear this is the direction that we may be heading down from it. Good morning, Leapskin. Hope you are doing well, and Ginger Lefty. Hope you guys are both doing well. That's my fear. Like I say, I don't know too much about the amendment. I don't know too much about what the vote is. I need to look it up before I can really comment on it. But what I will say is that as long as women's rights are protected, as long as women are able to make that decision for themselves, and not and the change should only be made that if a majority of the British public want it, not by a few MPs who are getting paid huge amounts of money by certain lobbyists and groups that we don't know about. That's my position on it. And I agree with the decision to ban this ad, because simply on the basis of the police here, because this is an anonymous story. We don't know the context of the story, and we don't want to be undermining the police already when the police are already undermined enough. So this so I do question why did the Advertising Standard Authority pass this without knowing that it could potentially undermine the police, the trust in the police here, because we don't know if the story is real. We don't know the context of the story. Like, if the story was in full, the person's real name was in full, if it was a real story, maybe it would be a bit more okay, maybe. But it's part of me, it does scream to me a little bit that someone is trying to undermine police within an anonymous story that could potentially be fake. That's kind of how I see it, regardless of whatever side you feel about it here. So yeah, that's the thing that really kind of bothers me there. The notice she is the North of England correspondent. When was the London in the North? Yeah, that's true. But I still like. It's just for me. It's just like I know the police are already. Police like I've spoken enough times about how much I really am upset with the police and how they've been conducting themselves over the last several years, and we know. If it was up to them, they try to have as much power as some police forces in America if they had it their way. We can't let that happen. We just can't let that happen. Another story, this one from Sky News, is that Britain has lost control of its borders. Defence Secretary tells Sky News. Migrants were pictured bordering boats are bound for the UK in the shadows of the French beach as authorities stood and watched. So yeah, about yesterday or day before, I think about over 1,000 people crossed in one day. It's a report that I read, which is look. It's just the longer this happens, the more this plays into the media, to the the right wing media. It continues to play in their hands. The longer they continue just to not deal with this situation. Every single day that they refuse to set up safe and legal routes for people to come to the UK, every single day you are playing more and more into reform in Nigel Farage's hand. Every single day this happens. Every single day. And it's just, Zoe Gardner has been saying this, who is an immigration expert, who has been kicking and screaming about this for God knows how long, has been saying, for setting up safe and legal routes. There is no legal way for people to come to the UK unless you are Ukrainian or from Hong Kong, and there may be some other exemptions out there, which I'm sure there are. But if you're from any other nationality, it's near to next impossible. The only way you can come is by getting on a boat, illegally crossing. Well, it's not illegally, but getting on a boat, paying huge thousands of pounds to smugglers, and they're never going to smash the smuggling gangs because another one will just pop up because it's people who are that desperate will pay whatever money they need to pay to try and cross over. It's a lose situation, whatever this government does, until they set up safe and legal routes. Until safe and legal routes are set up, this will never end. And what infuriates me is that nobody is saying this enough times in question time, for example. Like, I don't know how many times this needs to be said, and I don't know. The thing is that politicians are not saying it enough. Not enough politicians are getting it through their thick heads. Like every single day that passes that we don't have safe and legal routes, it's another day we are reform are closer to gains another voter. Because they just hash this out every single day. Like every day the crossings, they hash out. Look how many people are crossing. Look how much, Labour and Keir Starmer are failing to get control. And it's just like, they're failing to get control. The Conservatives are failing to get control. Reform won't get control of it. They won't get control of it if they seize power, because they would have to go to war with France to send them back, which they won't do. John Henley told Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips the previous Conservative government left the UK asylum system in chaos and the country with record levels of immigration, which the government is having to deal with. On Saturday, 1,194 migrants arrived in the UK on 18 small boats. Government figures showed the highest number of arrivals in a day so far this year than the previous record was 825 on a day in May. It brings the provisional total for 2015 so far to 14,811, the highest ever record in the first 5 months of the year, and the highest total for the first 6 months of the year, which was previously 13,489 on June the 30th last year. Yeah. These numbers would be much lower if we had safe and legal routes. 2025's total so far is 42% higher than the same point last year, which is 10,448. And 95% up from the same point in 2023 at 7,610. The highest daily total since data began in 2018 remains at 1,305 on the 3rd of September 2022. On Saturday, French police watched on while people, including children, boarded small boats in the shallows of the beaches of Graveness between Calais and Dunkirk. Authorities were then pictured escorting the boats as they sailed off towards the UK. Mr. Henley said pretty shocking at those scenes yesterday. Truss is Britain's lost control of its borders in the last 5 years, and the last government last year left an asylum system in chaos and record levels of immigration. So it's a really big problem that French police are unable to intervene and intercept boats in shallow water. French police watched on, including children boarding small boats in a shallow piece. See, this right here, this plays into their hands. This plays into Freeform's hands here. All they can do is they'll tweet and they'll say, well, there you go. We're paying all this money to the French authorities, and this is what they're doing. They're standing by and allowing them on the boats. Again, it's just playing. This statement right here is literally playing into their hands. Literally playing into their hands. It's just absolutely frustrating, guys. It's just really, really annoying. Police officers should be armed, says the Conservatives. Prison officers dealing with violent inmates should be armed, the Shadow Justice Secretary has said, saying that specialist guards should have taser stun guns and baton rounds and less lethal alternatives to traditional bullets to give them confidence in handling threats, Robert Jenrick had told the BBC. The Conservatives said securing armory should be introduced at maximum security jails and used as a last resort. Prison officers in adult male prisons currently only carry an extendable baton and pavlia, a synthetic pepper spray. The Ministry of Justice has said that some prison officers will use tasers this summer on a trial basis, but argued that giving them lethal weapons would put them at greater risk. I 100% agree. I think this is silly from Robert Jenrick to make this claim. Just before I carry on, sorry. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the £2 super chat. All hail the Democratic Penguins Republic. Yes, thank you. All hail the Democratic Penguins Republic. Thank you for the £2 super chat, my friend. First super chat of the month for Pride Month. I don't think I haven't forgotten it's Pride Month. I will mention that a little bit before we head before the end of the show. Yes, happy Pride Month, everyone. And good morning to you and anybody else who are lurking in the chats there. Yes, I know Robert Jenrick has been trying to play Batman, the Batman of Wish.com for fare dodgings and whatnot here, but I don't believe it is a good idea to arm prison officers. I don't think that should be the case. And there is always that possibility that by them carrying it, it could possibly fall in the hands of prisoners. You know, you always run that risk. Whatever the prison officers carry, there is always a risk that what they're carrying could end up in the hands of the prisoners. There is always that possibility, and it's a danger for them. Jenrick said that without intervention, it was only a matter of time before a prison officer was held hostage and potentially killed. He added under his proposals, officers would not be walking the rings with lethal weapons, but would have access to them if they needed them. The Conservatives called for officers to be armed following a review conducted by the former prison governor Lee Archdon. Among other policies, the party also wants to see a high-collared stab vest immediately rolled out to frontline officers. I have no problem with them wearing stab vests for frontline officers. I think that's totally fine. I don't have an issue with that personally. I think if that just makes them feel safer, totally have no issue with that whatsoever. But like everything, it all comes at a cost, guys. But I disagree with Robert Jenrick here. I don't think we should be arming prison officers. Do I think that they should have should they have some legal weapons on the premises in some prisons? I do think so, as long as they're in a secure place. As a last resort, yes, but not actually literally carrying them on them. So I do think there is something there to be talked about on with regards to that. Ban smartphones in schools. Starmer has been told by the country that has done it. So this is from The Independent. Keir Starmer has resisted a national ban on mobile phones in schools, but the Education Minister in New Zealand, who introduced the measure in her country, has told The Independent it's already proven successful, apparently. So in an exclusive interview with The Independent, New Zealand's Education Minister, Erika Stanford, said that she had heard overwhelming positive feedback about the world-leading phone ban in her country, with more engagement and less cyberbullying in schools. The New Zealand National Party government now hopes to take it further, introducing the ban on social media for under-16s. It comes as the Keir Starmer's government is under increasing pressure to introduce similar measures in England's schools, with the Tories and campaigning group pressing for a ban. New Zealand's government introduced a ban on mobile phones in schools last year. Ms Stanford had told The Independent, quote, I've been told students are much more focused on their learning in class. They are engaging with their peers, reading more books, and spending more time playing outside. And there are fewer reports on cyberbullying. I'm committed to ensuring children are not only safe but remain focused in the classroom, taking away the distraction of the cell phone, ensuring better engagement in class and improves student achievement and well-being. In the UK, a recent push by the Tories to add an amendment to the Schools Wellbeing in Schools Bill, which would require schools to prohibit phones during the school days, was shut down by the government. The Tory leader Kemi Bagnott has urged ministers to reconsider after Keir Starmer labelled the amendment as completely unnecessary, claiming that almost every school already bans phones. Ms Bagnott had claimed the Prime Minister is wrong. Not all schools do this. Only 1 in 10 schools is smartphone free. Despite the government's stance, Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson has commissioned a review into whether schools in England are banning children's phones and whether the bans are effective. In New Zealand, the National Party's election promise was greeted by scepticism, criticism, and the assumption that students would become sneakier, and now it is praised by students and educationers. What I will say is this. I think we need to see more data. I think we need to see more data on whether or not there is a justification for it. I think it's too soon to say that this has been a major success for New Zealand, and just because it's been a success for New Zealand doesn't necessarily mean that it can work for us. Not every country is different, obviously. My position has always been that like the mobile phone should be out of children's hands throughout the whole time they're in school. That's been my position on it. I know some people think that some parents think they need to hear from their child while they're at school, and my position is no, they don't. My position is always no, they don't. They don't need to hear from their child while they're at school. They're in the hands of the parents, the teachers, and school. They shouldn't need to call or text them during playground time and whatnot. The children need to be spending time with other kids. I don't even think they need their phones during their break periods. I really don't. Like, my position is pretty much from the day they arrive to my original position was from the day they arrive at school to the end of the day they get handed back their phone. Like, to be focused, spending, even during the breaks. Now, some people will argue, but some people have made arguments that they need it for whatnot, but it was not necessary when I was a child whatsoever, because I didn't have phones. So I do think there is some argument to it, but I think we need to see more data from New Zealand on whether or not it really has been a success, because again, I haven't seen the data, and this is from the Education Minister, but just because the Education Minister is saying that doesn't mean necessarily that, we should just take the Education Minister's word for it. No, we should actually have a look at the data and see if that's actually what people in New Zealand are actually saying. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical of saying, yeah, this definitely works, we should implement it. I will actually look at some data before we jump to conclusions there. Billy, thanks for popping in, much appreciated, and anybody else who as well. So let's have a look at all the stories this morning from the papers, from the medias, what they're saying. We'll start with The Guardian here. It's The Guardian here, their front page. So, UK politics, London Mayor reverses TfL ban on ads calling for abortion decriminalisation. Sadiq Khan's urgent review. So we talked about that at the start already. Let's see what else they've got here. So, Blue Labour group urges ministers to root out DEI to win over reform voters. Spending on agency staff across NHS England drops by almost 1 billion. That's a good. Yeah, we want to be less reliant on agency staff if we can help it. Defence Review to say that the UK must be ready for fight in a war in Europe and the Atlantic. Well, there's a big problem with that. We don't have a lot of people stepping up to. The problem is we don't have a lot of people stepping up to join the army. I said this before. We need to get a recruitment drive going to get more people to join the army. I'm not in favour of compulsory, but we need to incentivise. We need to do more incentivising. Madison staff asked to work overtime amid record numbers of small boat arrivals. I think they need to. If you're not going to make safe and legal routes, this is only going to get worse. UK SIF threatened to no platform Labour's MPs over lack of Golden Temple massacre inquiry. and British Army will not be increased in size, as Parliament John Henley said. Well, that's obvious there. That's just pretty obvious there. Yeah, John Henley says hoping to secure an increase of a few thousand from the current target 73,000 troops. But in a BBC interview, he acknowledged it would take several years before the recruitment drive will be put into action. That's not good enough. That needs to be a lot faster. Several years is not enough time. The army is at its smallest for more than 300 years, and figures out this week shows that that more people were leaving. The number is full-time trained soldiers stood at 70,000. This is bad. Several years is not enough, John. You've got to do a lot better than that. You've got to do a hell of a lot better than that. That's just not good enough. I'm sorry. Just not good enough. Right, let's have a look at the front of UK here. Let's just see what the UK... Yep, talked about defence spending. Talked about that. High electricity poll taxes holding us back, says industry groups. Relatives of the 99 fortunate crash victims initiate legal action against the MOD. And a couple more analysis and pieces there from The Guardian. So that is news from The Guardian there. Just checking my stream is working okay, just because it's been making a lot of noises, the computer, but that is also because it is a little bit warm in here. This is Sky News. It's under politics here. So the front of their page, they've got Prime Minister to put the UK on war footing, but Defence Secretary hung out to dry by the Chancellor. Britain has lost control of its borders, the Minister says. UK moving to war fighting readiness as it commits to build attack submarines. Farage has grabbed the mic to dominate media agenda. It's not just Farage, it is you, the media. You can continuously talk about it. I don't know how many of you guys saw my video about the rant I did about Nigel Farage on Friday. I do recommend checking it out. The piece I did from Byline Times. I actually thought that video would go viral, but no. New UK weapon factories to be built very soon. Prison officers should be armed with lethal weapons to crack down on Islamic terrorists, Tories say. That's is that what they're saying there? Front of the UK. Without support, we have died alone. Anonymous nurses on unforgivable patients and NHS pay. Innocent neighbours at risk as gangs use rented houses and flats for cannabis farm. I've said what I need to say about drugs. We need to legalise them. You kill this. You can kill this industry by just legalising it all. Britain lost control of its borders. 2 Britons shot dead in Spain, reports are saying. That's absolutely terrible. Absolute condolences go out to them. Kids vaping before they're out. Kids are vaping before they're out of bed. From a video there. Calls to scrap dangerous assisting dying bill. Yep, I agree. It is dangerous now because the safeguards are not there anymore. NatWest boss thanks British taxpayer. Well, yeah, I'm sure you are. Man attempts to steal Clarendon jewels. 4 injured after car collides with pedestrians there. LGBT rights are dangerously threatened. Yeah, they are dangerously threatened more than ever before. They are being undermined, that is for sure, guys. 9 injured after boat fire on the River Thames. UK set for hotter than usual summer in heatwaves, the Met Office has predicted. Inquiry into UK's role in 1984 Golden Temple massacre under consideration. Man described rescuing boy from the Thames after body found in search for missing girl. Oh my god. Transformation, a new drug could stop breast cancer tumors before they grow. Trial finds. Miracle that women on day 245 of hunger strike is alive, family says. Yeah, that is quite extraordinary. British man charged over plot to smuggle US military technology to China, apparently. Disposable vape bans begins. More arrests after car collide with a number of pedestrians there. Deeply dangerous assisting dying bill should be scrapped, says care consultant. We don't want reform voters. Yeah, we don't want reform voters, but the problem is that the media does, and the media wants them. We don't want them, but the media does because it'd be good clickbait for the media. That's why they are behind. They're behind it. That's the sad reality. Let's have a look at the BBC here and see what they've got to say, guys. This is the BBC. Under politics, the Fed's review to send a message to Moscow, said Henley. Prison officers should be armed, says Conservatives. IFS says tough public spending choices unavoidable. Tough choices are unavoidable as the government finalises spending plans for areas ranging from the NHS and defence to school and criminal justice system, a think tank has warned. The Institute for Physical Studies, the IFS, has said the levels of spending on health would dictate whether cuts will be made to unprotected areas of those outside NHS, defence and school. While funding increasing sharply in 2024 for transport, net zero hospitals, schools and prisons, it will no longer increase year on year given the government's commitments, the IFS said. Government says a spending review on the 11th of June. Thank you. I was waiting to know that. Finally got a date. Would scrutinise every single pound the government spends. Nobody gave me a date. Now I finally have a date on it. The review will outline day-to-day departmental budgets over the next 3 years and investment budgets over the next 4. White House insiders have told the BBC they expect it will be ugly and that ministers have been fighting over winning small amounts of cash in their respective departments. There are concerns that plans such as increasing police numbers in a bid to halve violence against women and girls may not be allocated enough cash. There are also discussions over continued funding for capping bus fares. No, don't. If you increase the cap on bus fares, it's going to make it more difficult for people to get on the bus. Chancellor Rachel Reeves starts on ruling out borrowing more money and not raising taxes again, led to strong speculation spending cuts will be made. The Conservatives said Reeves was left only seamlessly impossible choices, but she chose to borrow and push the spending limit. They have pushed up the cost of living, unemployment is rising, growth is stalling, Chancellor Melsdry said, and yet Rachel Reeves still clings to her tax and spend dogma like it's the 1970s. The thing is that we're not seeing it's not working right now for her. Her plan is currently not working. The global factors are taking effect as well. I sat maths exams with no calculator so no phones. Phones are not needed, said Meffel. Yeah, they don't need their phones at school. Kids do not need their phones at school. They're there to learn. Here's the thing. I'm kind of like I personally would like the phones be taken away from them completely throughout their whole time. But if it means they need to have their phones during the school intervals, I'm not too fussed about that. I'm not would be totally against it. I personally think they shouldn't have the phones at all. Because they need to learn to detach themselves a bit from their phone. They need to learn to detach themselves from it. The minister regrets clumsy reference to Nazi Germany. Millionaires shouldn't get winter fuel cash, minister says. Yes, I agree. Millionaires should not get winter fuel cash. But also, there's a lot of people who aren't getting the cash as well. Darren Jones, Chief Secretary of Treasury, said the payment would be targeted to those who need it the most. It comes after Prime Minister Keir Starmer's U-turn on the withdrawal of the allowance to the ministers and pensioners after a backlash over the decision. So Keir said more pensioners would be able to claim the payments again under changes being made by the budget this autumn. But the Prime Minister did not specify how many pensioners would be entitled to claim the payment, when the changes would take effect, or how it would cost the government. The Conservative leader, Kemeny Bagner, also said she does not believe millionaire pensioners should be able to claim the winter fuel allowance. Reform UK, Liberal Democrats and the Green Party have called for the winter fuel allowance to be restored in full. Yeah, I think it should be restored in full. Yes, here's the thing, there's always going to be anomalies. There's always going to be some people who get it that don't need it. There's always going to be that. But for me, it's there's no guarantee that everyone who needs it is going to get it if you're not going to make it available to everyone. This is the thing. They want it to be targeted, but the problem is that you're not going to always hit your targets. You're not going to always hit everyone. This is the problem. This is why it needs to stay as it is. These are all old stories. Reform to accept Bitcoin donations, says Farage. Yeah, that's really, really bad because it. Let me just say about this, because while you guys are here on this, right? The government needs to introduce a law saying that political parties can only accept Bitcoin they cannot accept Bitcoin unless they are told where the money comes from. They need to enshrine that in law ASAP. The government needs to introduce a law saying that or just banning Bitcoins outright from political parties. They need to do one of the two. They need to do something about this. They should be responding to this now. They should literally, someone should be making legislation now, and hopefully it will get passed in time before the next general election, to say to ban Bitcoin donations to political parties. It needs to happen as soon as possible, because this loophole right here gives carte blanche to anyone to donate to any political party. Because there's no rules, there's no rules saying that they can't accept bitcoins. And the thing is, there's no tracing, as it's been pointed out by other YouTubers and commentators, there's no tracing of where the bitcoins come from. So it needs to be banned, or there needs to be some kind of amendment. There needs to be something enshrined in law to protect democracy. It takes years to pass anything into law. That's why they need to be working on it now. They should be, the moment this story came up, there should be a team working on this ASAP, in government or cross party government. They need to be working on this now. Some MPs need to be working on this now, because between now and the next general election, to try and work up something in the next couple of years, because there is still a couple of years before the next general election. So that I really hope there are MPs who have seen this headline and it's like, look, we need to make some time for this legislation to make this law. It needs to be done. I cannot stress that enough. Let's see the front of the UK to build up to 12 new attack submarines. 2 Scots shot dead in Spain had criminal gang links, apparently. Pharmacies warn drug shortage affecting cancer patients. Veteran age 90 still fighting to correct pension robbery. Oh my God, still at 90 years old and they still haven't got their pension properly. Britain accused of plot to export US military tech. Student warned of subject cold spots as university cuts courses. Sexual shot by friend left me feeling betrayed. Met Office sees greater chance of hot summers and heat waves. Yeah, I believe that too. Body of British hiker missing in Italy since New Year's Day has been found. That's terrible. It's taken that long for it to be found. I spent half term looking for somewhere for my family to live. Yeah, because it's near to next impossible for people to find things now. It's very, very difficult, very, very stressful as well. I might not be covering The Independent in the future for the Good Morning shows, because they demanded they wouldn't let me come on their website unless I accepted all cookies, which is very, very stressful on my computer. So I may not be using The Independent in the future. Britain must be ready for war in Europe. Defence Secretary to warn. French police stand up while smuggling to pick up migrants like taxis. Yeah, this language right here. This, as I said, this language right here plays into the hands of reform. Plays into the hands of reform. And I have to say, if we are paying why are we paying the French and they're sitting there and allowing it to happen? Like, why are we wasting? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to be on the side of reform on this point, but it is true. Why are we paying taxpayer money to the French government when they're not even doing anything about it? Like, what? Why? That's just an honest argument piece. UK spend 1.5 billion on weapon factories in response to Putin threat. Surging parents turning to baby banks amid the UK's child poverty crisis. Yeah, this is the situation. This is exclusive from the celebrities, MPs, and campaigners say the situation is a national disgrace as they call for more support for families. Yeah, because they're not doing anything about it. Demand for help from baby banks from parents struggling to feed their children has surged by more than 1/3, and then The Independent can reveal amid high levels of record poverty. I will probably cover this in a video, whether it'll be on YouTube here on YouTube or on Patreon. I'm going to cover the article. It needs to be covered. Russian attacks in UK. Russia attacking UK everyday minister warns. Well, cyber attacks, I'm assuming. I'm assuming he's talking about cyber attacks there, in terms of attacks there. Let's check the front of the UK. Former race against the world star dies in a car crash, aged 24. Absolutely terrible. My deepest condolences to friends and family. Britain must be ready to fight for war. June 2025 benefit and payment dates. Premium bond price checker when in June draw and have I won. Supermarkets may be made to reveal if people are paying more for less. That sounds like a good idea. Items such as digestive biscuits, butter, and chocolate bars have seen a decrease in size while their unit cost has increased. Yes, this is definitely happening. Not enough people know about that. Supermarkets could soon be required to inform customers when they are effectively being asked to pay more for less under new proposals aimed at tackling shrinkflation. Liberal Democrats are pushing on an amendment for government legislation that would help legally oblige large supermarkets to notify shoppers when quality of goods in a prepackaged product has been reduced, leading to an increase in the price per unit. Under the proposed amendments to the Product Regulation and Methodology Bill, details of the change would need to be displayed on or next to the product for a 60-day period. Research conducted by the Compare the Market in 2024 revealed that items such as digestive biscuits, butter, crisp, and chocolate bars have seen a decrease in size while the units has increased. MPs may vote on the Lib Dems proposal on Wednesday when the bill is scheduled to return to the Commons for its report stage. The Dems trade spokesperson Clive Jones said the scourge of shrinkflation needs to be exposed. Shoppers have been hammered during the cost of living crisis, while paying massive companies and big supermarket chains are forcing them to pay more for less to protect their bottom line. They need to be called out on it, and for shoppers to know that they are at risk of being ripped off. The government should accept this Liberal Democrat amendment so that we can help protect shoppers who are already stretched household budgets from another round of shrinkflation. The bill, as a whole, gives powers to ministers to regulate the marketing and good use in the UK after Brexit. I am all in favour of this. I'm all in favour of the Lib Dem bill here. I don't know whether or not Labour will go with it. I don't think they will, but this is a massive issue, and I'm sure even for those who aren't in the UK watching this, you've seen where some supermarkets and whatnot are shrinking, either keeping the size the same and it's just actually a bit less. Like, yeah, we see it in chocolate bars. We've seen it in products like. They are doing this. To keep their bottom line, because that is the number one priority for all these companies, is looking after their bottom line. I'm no fan of the defence industry, but those 12 subs will bring much needed work to Barron and Furness, a really deprived part of the UK, says Mithril. Yeah, I have nothing against any creating more jobs in areas that need them the most. I'm all in favour of more job creation, of course. One of the biggest cruxes that I have when it comes to defence is our army forces, but John Henley said it's going to take years to build that back up there. Mars bars have definitely shrunk drastically. Yeah, I've seen it on chocolate bars that I've used to have as well, and you also see it in some sweeteners. Like, you know how they every now and then they change packaging, they'll change the brand and whatnot. Sometimes you don't notice that sometimes they can put unless people actually count like. I don't know if Haribo are doing it, for example. Like, are they putting less in their sweet bags and you're just not noticing it? Maybe. It's very easy for them to do it and people not to pay attention and see that's actually happening as well. This is a very interesting storyline. A storyline. I don't know why I said storyline. That's because it's a wrestling reference. I think it's definitely one that I might cover in a video as well to talk about, because I do think it's very interesting. It's an interesting one, and I am definitely in favour of it. I'm definitely in favour of such a change. Jeremy Clarkson forced to pay Richard Hammond a hefty sum of money. Oh, they had a falling out, did they? Oh, what a shame. AOC viewed positively by more Americans than Trump or Harris poll finds. Yeah, because she talks common sense. That's why. She talks common sense there. And we're coming up to the last 6 minutes, guys. So let's keep jumping right in. I can't open up iPaper stories anymore because I've stopped paying the iPaper for them now. I didn't review. They asked me if I wanted to renew my payment to the iPaper, and I said no. So if I ever open up any exclusives, they'll ask me. They need to basically pay up now. Britain sends warnings to 12 new submarines. What's their exclusive saying? Spending plans behind defence review are inadequate. For a Russian threat, Labour warn. That's not really exclusive. We talked about it already. Why the state prison pension triple lock? It's a political headache for Starmer Farage in charts. Heat pump rollout under threat if government cuts a 75,000 boiler upgrade scheme. Fruit and veg from EU set to get cheaper as UK axes border checks in Brexit reset. Oh, I hope it gets cheaper. We'll have to see, obviously. We'll have to see in that. Send shake up terrifying parents who fear chaos in the classroom. ECHPs, which give children with special needs a legal entitlement to funding support, could go from mainstream schools as part of the government's Send review. No, don't do that. That would be a very, very bad idea if you guys were to do that. That'd be a very, very bad idea. So a quick look at the Financial Times. 12 submarines again. This is the front page. NHS risk a crisis of cycles without 2.5% funding rise, a think tank warns. I've been so impressed with the relief for patients that NHS tries to tackle dentist deserts. Pioneering funding model offers hopes as Western vows to renegotiate deserts and contracts and end crisis. I hope so. UK industrial strategy must deal with high energy costs. Businesses warn. UK office construction drops to a 10-year low. Ambitious reforms need to ease UK higher education. UK calls on France to stop migrants in shallow waters after shocking day. Corporate tax doesn't need 985 boxes. Misbelief before money. Inside MHS hackers hunt for new targets. Reform and Plaid Cymru file for gains in Labour stronghold of Wales as well. So that's from the Financial Times there. Let's have a look at the Times. This is from the Times here under politics. AI could free 30,000 civil servants from routine admin. Study finds artificial intelligence was used in Whitehall to help in the trial to help with the tasks such as drafting documents, summarising meetings, and handling emails. Inheritance tax changes put 200,000 jobs at risk. Ending the troubles is one of my greatest achievements, says Bill Clinton. Up to 50,000 migrants could cross the channel this year. That's going to happen. We're going to hit 50,000. That's going to happen, guys. Sanctioned MPs banned from meeting Chinese officials. Nigel Farage is to send the first Doge team into Kent Council. Doge. God. They're trying so hard to mimic them. Majority of Labour MPs oppose Rees over physical rules. Labour MP failed to declare relationship with ex-trade union boss. Labour-backed water tariff plan will punish large families. Why is it calling it tariff plan? Why is it called a tariff plan? Why are you calling it a tariff plan? That doesn't. Why are they calling it tariff plan? It's not a. UK not among countries pushing for ECHR. Not among countries pushing for ECHR reform. How Starmer's plan for change became a slogan of choice. Anything else here? Broken Labour, just opinion pieces there. Those are from the Times there. Good to see you, Stephen Banker. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Let's have a look at the Telegraph. Britain faces new nuclear power. Attack submarines to face down Russia. Alleged Chinese spy plotted to make Xi critic bang bang and gone. Okay. Yeah, suspend EU fishing deal until France stops channel crossings, Starmer has been told. Junior Doctors Union fiddling figures to justify pay strikes. See, this is the Tory graph trying to undermine junior doctors here. Reform to unleash Doge unit on the first council. Okay, sure. Ukrainian drones destroy Putin bombers. A secret smuggling operation made is possible. What else they got here? Trump left in the dark over air-based attack on Russia. EU woke green rules are blocking Europe's rearmament. No, they're not. Israel denies shooting dead dozens of civilians at Gaza airstrike. Right, sure. Harpoon elections could be decided by Ukrainian farmers. Yeah, that's definitely having a factor, the Ukrainian farmers. Swarms of drones from parked trucks destroy Putin bombers. 6 injured in a terrorist attack on a rally in Israel. Israeli hostages in Colorado there. And just quickly before we head out, because we're on the last minute. You know Graham Hughes is never on time anyway. He's always 1 or 2 minutes anyway normally. This is from Byline Times. Whistleblower alleges systematic failures in UK approved biofuel certificately. Nigel Farage 7 billion DEI savings don't actually exist. This is the video I covered on this article here, how the media is cashing in on the rise of Nigel Farage. Check out the video on my YouTube channel. I really give some insight into it, guys. If you haven't seen the video, please do check it out. UN confirms Russia drone attacks on Kursk are crimes against humanity and war crimes there. And that is and you can check out the rest there. That's Byline Times there, guys. So I want to say have a wonderful Pride Month, because it is Pride Month. Let us celebrate all things Pride and make sure we are looking out for our LGBTQ friends as always here on this channel and wherever you guys are doing. I will be back tonight at 8 p.m. for the Snowflake Viewpoint. We're covering news from the UK, so do join me for that if you can as well. I won't be able to. I don't think I'll be able to catch any of the live streams today, but if you can, do check out Graham Hughes' Morning Brew on Politics Social. Check out Dave McGuinness's paper review at 10:30 on youtube.com/the Two Davies. They'll also have their show at 4 p.m. The Two Davies show. With Dave McGuinness and David Mulligan, the Two Davies there, so do check out that show as well. And then join me for tonight if you can for the Snowflake Viewpoint. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for your comments and your thoughts. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the first super chat of the month. Really appreciate your support and anybody else who has financially supported me as always. But have a wonderful Monday, whatever you guys are doing. If you're going back to work, if you're enjoying the sunshine, whatever it is, take care, look after yourselves, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.